Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Renee Mehrra. Thank you so much for joining Zoom In with Renee. Today, I'll be talking to my guests on an upcoming memorial concert for Ustad Vilayat Khan ji, the legendary sitar maestro. So today, I'm joined by Hidayat Khan, Ustad Vilayat Khan ji's youngest son. And Hidayat ji is an exquisite and a renowned sitar player who I know very well, dear friend of mine. Thank you so much for joining me today, Hidayat.
Always a pleasure, and thank you so much for having me back.
And joining Hidayat and me is Sunanyana Kachroo, and she's a film writer, lyricist, columnist, and a very beautiful poet who inspires me with her poetry. So thank you so much, Sunanyana ji, for joining.
And I'm looking forward to this conversation with such creative people.
Let's first talk about Abba, Ustad Vilayat Khan ji. This is the 20th anniversary, and we're doing this concert on March 2nd at Carnegie Hall at 7 p.m. in New York, in a very iconic venue. So let me go with Hidayat first, your father, and most inspiring figure for me, because I said even last time when I talked to you, I had interviewed him, emceed his shows, and he was humblest person that I'd ever met. A unique, extraordinary person. He played for me on TV. It was a live show, and it was a most precious moment of my life being with such a great maestro. So share your thoughts on
that. People that knew Abba closely, there were very few people because he was a private person. So he had two very distinctly different personas. One was what the public, the outside world perceived him as, and what he was at home. Mm-hmm. And you brought up humility, and he was, if you met him on a personal level, and the people that have met him on a personal level would know what I'm talking about, within minutes of being with him in the same room, he would make you so comfortable. He would be so approachable. He had an amazing, quirky, funny sense of humor. He enjoyed meeting people. He enjoyed talking to people. And he was very interested in people. And he always spent time in asking them questions about who they are and what their lives are. And there was a reason behind it, because he felt like musicians are communicators. We communicate with people. And if I understand you, what your likes and dislikes are, then I can communicate with you in that way, what your life is. So he always took life as an inspiration in his music. And because of that, he had a lot of interest in life. He had a lot of interest from fashion to architecture to food, so which made him a very interesting musician. And it was a fun journey spending time with him.
So much to learn from his music, from his persona, larger than life. So Naina, you have worked with musicians and composers. Sunny Side Up is one of your latest books. It's poems and short stories. And, lyrics that you have written out for Sonu Nigam ji, Suniti Chauhan, Shankar Mahadevan, Asavira, Tum Kehte Ho. So then there's also Dhool Hatakar Dekha.
Anuradha ji ke saath,
yeah. Did you ever interact with Ustad Vilayat Khan ji as well?
No, unfortunately, even though it's as I was reading his life journey, I was going through that. I realized we do have some points where we could have met. It could have been a grocery store in Princeton, because when I came to US, I lived in Princeton for a while in August of 2000. I didn't know he was there during that time. So we could have met. It's just that I don't have a time machine to actually figure out, did that really happen? So I did not meet him, but I have met his music. I have met his son. I have seen what his music, I'm not a classical musician, but I am somebody who has a good taste in music. I would like to believe that, just like the rest of us. So from a distance, he looks like this bright star that I have dared to touch during this understanding of this process and then narrating this on the stage. So there was a phase where I felt like, ये मैंने क्या कर दिया, what did I get into? Because I'm in the middle of the ocean. अब उसमें आप कतरे उठा रहे हो तो लगता है ये कतरा उठाएं, ये कतरा उठाएं, ये कतरा उठाएं, तो ये करने में आप डूब भी सकते हो. And then as an artist you have to kind of find your middle ground and say, okay, let me just try to wade through this and find a way to go somewhere. वो एक jet stream आपको ढूंढनी पड़ती है. So somehow I have been able to find that, but no, I did not get to meet him. But I can say that these days I have a friend and it's his music.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
wow.
Well, we are seeing him through his music, and that's everlasting. That's how
Wow.
I look at it. Yeah.
I have to say, just a little while earlier, I was having a conversation with Sunanyana ji regarding the March 2nd concert, because we're doing something which is very unique and very interesting, because typically speaking, music is the background score for films or theater and everything. But here, the story is the background score for the music. So we're reversing the roles and we're doing this very, very interesting project. And so Sunanyana ji was sort of going over the script with me as for the planning. And I started off with, I swear to God, with goosebumps in my hands, how beautifully she has researched and how she's got the essence of the man and the moment. And from going from the emotion of wah, wah, to suddenly start feeling the pressure is like, oh my God, now I have to really deliver, because her words are so beautiful and they come off so easily for her. It's such a pleasure to work with her, and she's such an amazing talent, really.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Hidayat. I do want to point out that earlier when you were asking Hidayat ji, talk about Abba ji and him as a musician, him as a father, as you were asking, I could see how difficult this is for him to find that, वो जो कहते हैं ना कि गुंजाइश रखना कि एक पिता भी है, गुरु भी है, तो ये वो गुंजाइश रखना बहुत कठिन है. So kudos to him for able to find his own space and live within this bright star that is his father.
Wow. We performed Mausiqi last year in New York, and I was blown away by this whole ensemble. It was amazing. And Hidayat ji, your sound, with the sitar sound and your vocals blended so well, completely integrated. It was so perfect and immaculate. That's what I felt after listening. And I kept playing. It was so intoxicating and soothing, very therapeutic. And you're playing now again the upcoming concert, which is organized by Sneh Arts, a good friend, Sunny Tucker. Give us a little bit of that feel.
So, if it's okay, can I play something
Please,
for a
please,
couple of
it's
minutes?
an honor. Yes.
This is a composition of my father's. We're not necessarily playing this on March 2nd, but just came to my head today. So I'm going to play a few minutes.
मुख देख नंद के आनंद भये, मुख देख नंद के आनंद भये, तब दुख दरिद्र सब हरण भये, मुख देख नंद के आनंद भये। jeta 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 nand ke jeta jeta nand ke inayat kino jeta jeta nand ke inayat kino ut sab rang sugandh bhaye mukh dekh nand ke anand bhaye तब दुख दरिद्र सब हर न भय मुख देख नंद के आनंद भय.
Thank you, Hidayat. That was amazing. Tell us about this piece that you just played.
I love the lyrics of this. It's Mukh dekh nand ke anand bhay,
Wow.
tab dukh daridra sab haran bhay.
Wow.
So it's such a इतनी खूबसूरत बंदिश है ये, and it just आज आपका ये था तो मेरे दिमाग में ये आया तो I figured that I have to share it with, and it's not a very popular composition of his, so very few people sort of know this one.
It is beautiful. So Sunanyana ji, and you're going to be there with the Mausiqi ensemble in Carnegie Hall. How was this curated? This whole, performance that you did also last year, and you're doing it this year as well.
If I may, Sunanyana ji.
Ji, go ahead.
So it's a little bit of, not a little bit, loads of credit actually goes to Sunny Thakkar for sort of putting this together. So the story of Mausiqi, let's take it back a year when we did our first concert together, happened in New York for India's 50th year of independence. And even going before that, before the pandemic, I was planning on doing a tour with a very dear friend of mine. He's a theater actor, Danish Hussain, and a fabulous singer from the South, T.M. Krishna. So we were doing this tour in New York, concert at Town Hall, was put together by Sama Arts, where we were, this concept came to my head that why shouldn't music have a story? Because as instrumentalists, we always have a story. We are always feeling a certain emotion that we are connecting with our audience to. So why not bring that to the forefront? And instead, as I said, instead of having music as the background score, have the lyrics as the background score and have somebody narrate the story. So Danish was going to narrate the story, and myself and TM were going to perform. But that obviously didn't happen because of the pandemic. And then I had this concept, and I was discussing this with Sunny Bhai, and he said, I have a dear friend who's extremely talented, and you should really connect with her. I think she'll work superbly. So I said, yeah, most definitely. I always like connecting with new people. And instantly, it was a match made in heaven. We connected, and the rest of the musicians that that I work with, Abhik Mukherjee, Jay Gandhi, Inayat, and Aaron for Mausiqi, are all people that we connect on the same level. I mean, off stage, on stage, we have a very similar sense of aesthetics. We have a very similar sense of respect towards the craft, towards the art, and we enjoy each other's company. So we take the work that we do very seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. So there's a lot of banter between us. There's a lot of masti mazak, khana pina, and then there is work also. So it's really something that's very unique, and the people that will come for this event will really experience something very new and very different.
And it's showcasing the legacy of your father in this. Yeah.
G. So in this, the story is my father. Like last time we did, the story was India. This time the story is my father. So that's what makes Mausiqi very easy, is that we can take it in very different directions.
Correct.
The concept is narration, music, and visuals coming together.
Treat for the eyes and the ears.
Yes.
For all music aficionados, whether you're into Indian classical, any music, you're going to love this, because I did get a chance to look at some of the videos before. And coming to your collaborations, Hidayatji, you've done so many. You've done fusion, you've done with leading musicians of the world. Many times people think fusion creates a lot of cacophony and confusion, but this sound is so crisp and clear, and it brings out traditions from different genres, keeping them intact and yet bringing them together in cohesive way. And that requires a lot of skill, and you have to be very seasoned musician and artist to have that ear to see that everything is going flawlessly, effortlessly, and seamlessly. So how does that happen with you?
I think taking a paragraph out of my father's life and his teachings is letting life actually direct your music. The globalization has happened. Our languages have changed. Our food habits have changed. Our clothing has changed. So why not the music? I mean, the music also, there's natural integration. But I think the key to all of this is music is such a vast ocean, right? That you have to figure out your own space in it, and you have to figure out your own current in it. And if you work within that space and within that current, everything comes very easily. And sometimes you have to do things that are out of your comfort zone, and you realize that even that is your space. And sometimes you realize that isn't your space. So I've been a part of a lot of projects, collaborations, where it didn't go so seamlessly or it didn't work out. But those are experiences, you know. And by now, I have a few years under my belt. I've seen a few moons. So I figured out that what works for me and what doesn't. And it's most important. I need to feel inspired by the people that I work with, all my friends also, for that matter, and everyone that I'm working with in recent years. I've been very fortunate that they all have been inspirations to me, and I've learned so much from all of them. It's just, I guess, luck at the end of the day, and fortune, good fortune.
Any more collaborations from you?
Many more, many more. I mean, life is a collaboration.
That's so true. Yeah, that is so true. How about you, Sunanyana?
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of work coming my way, and I know you were asking Hidayat that any more collaborations. So I think in other words, he wanted to say that abhi to party shuru hui hai. So
this is just a trailer.
And I'll just add to what Hidayat ji said earlier, that there's no you'll never be perfect in every effort, in every nahi jo bhi aati hai, you takes, and that's what makes it beautiful. तेरी कमजोरियां भी तेरा हिस्सा है, इसलिए दिलचस्प तेरा हिस्सा है. So
Wow.
that's what makes you beautiful. I'm not talking about chaos. Obviously, you have to plan, you have to make sure it's as seamless as possible. But whatever, when people talk about meteoric rise, and they say, oh, that was like instant. There's a lot of practice which goes behind that, and there is never going to be a show in which we will not make mistakes. That's just not going to happen. We chase excellence, but we will never achieve it, and that's the beauty of life. And in my collaborations also, I'm actually an inherent collaborator, love to work with people because we bounce off each other's energies. What I did with Sunidhi ji, like, tum kehte ho kavita likh do, we were talking about earlier. Or even with Anuradha ji, I have done a song which is very close to my heart called धूल हटा कर देखा तो एक सपना सांस लेते देखा. It's about a woman realizing that her dream is still alive, because sometimes as an artist, as a mother, as a woman, you sacrifice and you feel that probably our dreams are dead, but they're still there.
That got the top 25 with Radio Mirchi Award.
Yes. So and the song with Sunidhi, which is तुम कहते हो कविता लिख दो, मुझे खून बहाना पड़ता है, शब्दों की खींचातानी में लफ्जों का धागा कटता है. Sometimes people casually say, oh, like probably Hidayat ji must have heard it million times, यार आपको तो आता ही होगा सितार. ऐसा नहीं होता है. सितार तब आएगा जब उनकी उंगलियों से खून निकलेगा, वो किसी से नहीं होगा वो. So ये जो सब है, when you're an artist, you hear all of these casual remarks, and sometimes people don't take you're not a surgeon, you didn't go to a medical school, then they don't feel that way, which is a part of process. Sometimes that's how, I guess, all of this contributes to your artistry. At least in my case, I take all of that, वो बोलते हैं ना शिव की तरह गले में विष लेके सब उधर से ही आ जाता है. So it fuels your creativity. My collaborations this year, I unfortunately lost my father, and so he had a poem which he had written when he was 19 years old, and he had lost it. So after he passed away, he had left some voice notes for me, so I got that voice note and released a song.
He was a very eminent poet, your father.
Right, poet. And so he recently we released that song after, and it was his first credit as a writer, first credit as a poet. So that was something very close to my heart, so I did that. I obviously now looking forward to Mausiqi, and I have a movie that is coming out. I'm co-writer in that, which is a musical of in Kashmir, so that's coming out, and a couple of more books that I'm working on.
And a lot of your movies, you have The Half Widow, The Illegal, Searching for America. These are gripping topics.
Right. Thank you so much.
Now, when you write these lyrics for films, do the producer, the director tell you, okay, this is what we want in the lyrics, and then you kind of customize it with your emotions, putting in there, and then in the context of the film?
See, when you're writing poetry, it's very close to it's your own voice, mostly, either things that have happened to you, or you have seen these things as a witness. When you're writing for films, then that is not your story. It's a story of the characters. You cannot even put your own, whatever our value system is, we cannot impose those on the characters. So when we are writing about a song of the which kind of is the voice of the character, it has to follow where they are from, what language will they speak, what is their economic background, what is the grammar, which kind of strata of society are they from, what kind of education level do they have, what time frame, is it a period film, is it current film, what city are they living in. You have to think of all of these things. Then obviously we are also thinking of what state of mind are they in. So is this a song that is helping them to escape the situation, or they're just talking about themselves? So I personally think songwriting is harder because there's so much, with all of this framework you have to write, with all of these restrictions you have to write. So like one of the examples I can give you is that I wrote this song for the movie Illegal. It was one of the director had told me that, think of La La Land, that there's a song for La La Land, The City of Dreams, something like that. So then, I wrote कि जिसका कभी था जिक्र सा मैंने वो सुबह देख ली, जिसका मिलना था कुफ्र सा मैंने वो सुबह देख ली, हर पल चलते इस शहर में सोता नहीं किसी पहर में, जिसका सजदा भी शुक्र सा मैंने वो सुबह देख ली.
Amazing.
So yeah, so that's my process.
It's very deep and profound. I think most artists, most musicians, most creative people are perfectionists. I have seen that many times in my interview. Oh, I could have done this better. You never feel satisfied completely, like I've done my best, I've given my best right now. It's always like I could have done a little better. Well, I think, and that's what helps people grow, and that's what helps all of us to grow and become better versions of ourselves in whatever field we are in. But the audience might think it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's because they're looking at the bigger picture. We are looking at little fine nuances here and there. Hidayat, does it happen with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every musician experience, every creative person experiences that. I remember an advice Zakir Bhai had given me many years ago. This is a year or so after my father had passed away. I was making my first crossover album, which was very, very successful, Ziver. And so when it was finished, I was running around with it before its release and was making everyone listen to it and getting a feedback. So one of the people that I made listen to was Zakir Bhai, and he heard the album. And so I met him a couple of days later, and I said, "What did you think?" And he's like, "Wow, bahut acha, congratulations, really great job," and everything, in his typical way how he speaks. And I told him, I said, "Thank you so much, Zakir Bhai, but can you actually critique it and tell me what has gone wrong?" So he said, "No, it's really nice. It's a good job, really fab job." But I was insistent. Can you please tell me? So he said, "Dekho, if I hear this and I sit down to critique it, I can figure out a million faults from it. But those are not necessarily flaws or faults.
Right. Yes.
That's your journey. Now, this chapter is closed. Now, learn from whatever the experiences from this was, positive and negative, and apply it to the next one. And then apply it to the next one." So I've seen a lot of great creative minds, my colleagues that we sort of grew up with, and I've seen them not sort of put their work outside for the fear of it not being perfect. And there is ek maza hai imperfection mein, like a Mona Lisa or like the moon itself, So एक मजा है imperfection में. एक हमारे जो पुराना जमाना था म्यूजिक का, where the digital era wasn't there, उसमें the digital जो BPMs होती हैं, जो beats per minute होती हैं, वो ये heartbeat. तो आपकी जैसे क्या कहते हैं, एनर्जी, इमोशंस बढ़ते घटते हैं, वैसे गाने का भी रिदम बढ़ता घटता था. कहीं कहीं सुर wasn't at that perfection, लेकिन उसमें एक इमोशन था. It wasn't that कि सुर की कमी थी, because we're talking about some of the greatest musicians. They didn't सुर उनके अंदर था, so there was never कि वो सुर से गलत हो रहे थे, but that emotion required it to be there. आज हम वो ऑटो ट्यून से सब कुछ एक पिच परफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, and it's almost mechanical. जैसे कि सुनैना जी ने बोला कि हम स्टेज पे बैठेंगे, there's a story that we are creating, we are rehearsing about it and everything, but it's not a scripted concert. We will feel each other, that moment, the audience, the environment, and something is going to happen if you let it happen, and when it happens right in that moment, it's magic. For us, for the audience, for everyone, and sometimes when you force it, there are a lot of speakers who are amazing speakers, and they will talk about, they'll script what they're speaking about, and then they'll come and then they'll speak, say they're talking about weather, right? And today seems to be a gloomy day, and they'll still talk about the bright sunshine. Yeah. And then there are others that will talk about the weather, but they'll take the gloominess of the weather into account, and sort of so I think there's two different thoughts, two different kind of artists, and here we are the latter. We sort of take that moment in, and so we structure the outside, and then we fill in the details as we're going.
Absolutely. Like when I sent you my music sample, I wrote work in progress,
Yep.
and I wanted you to critique, and you said enjoy the journey. That
Exactly.
is, yeah, but you know, you always feel like when you go back maybe 6 months later, say, oh yeah, this is what he meant, enjoy the journey, because it's all a journey going forward and evolving. Yeah.
Absolutely. What I loved about what you sent me was I felt the enjoyment that you were receiving from recording that song. And to me, that is more precious than anything else.
Thank
6 महीने के बाद you will sing much better than that. And उसके 6 महीने के बाद hopefully you will sing much better than that, because हमारी journey कोई end नहीं है उसका.
Yeah.
हम जिस भी लेवल में हम हैं आज जो मैं बजाता हूँ, I really hope कि 3, 4, 5, 6 महीने के बाद I look back and I say, यार, I'm playing better today than I was playing 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And मैंने ये improve किया है, yeah, you know, something, there should be a
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah.
And I want that to happen till the last day of my life. And I wish that to all the musicians and all the creative people, because वो नहीं हो गया आज आपने perfection कर दिया तो फिर close the book, it's done.
We think that we know everything. That's where I think our nemesis is. And that just kills the creativity inside us. The journey within and then the journey on. So that's what it is. Well, I wish you all the very best for the upcoming concert, the 20th anniversary remembrance of Ustad Vilayat Khan ji, whom I very fondly remember, and of course your father, Hidayat Khan ji. And it's going to be with Dishad Khan ji, with Nitin Mehta and the tabla, and then the Mausiqi ensemble with you and Sunanyana ji. That's going to be on March 2nd in Carnegie Hall in New York at 7 p.m.
I'm very fortunate, and I'm very excited about it, because not only is this group of Mausiqi, of the musicians and creative people that are my inspiration, but Nishad Bhai is one of my favorite artists, and he's such an amazing
He's your
musician.
cousin, right?
Yeah, he's my first cousin. He's my brother.
Yeah.
And it's so, and I think this is the first time we're sharing a stage together. Excited and
Yeah.
really looking forward to it. I'm
Yeah.
sure Abba would be really happy, you know, to see
Yeah.
all of us.
Yes, I had the opportunity of meeting him online. A great musician.
Earlier talked about Dool Hata Kar Dekha. That is composed by Nishad ji. So with that kind of, there are connections like that. So he was a composer of that song with Anuradha ji. I've done two of his two songs that he had composed with Anuradha ji as a singer, and she had produced that. So kind of a Bhojpuri song also. which I did.
Nice.
It's called Tattoo. So yes, so we do have, there are these threads. As I said, I wish we had time machine to know that how we all know each other. But that's the beauty of life, surprises.
Yeah, 6 degrees of separation only.
True.
Well, thank you, both of you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Hidayat.
Likewise.
Great artist.
Likewise.
And Sunanyana ji, meeting you first time online in person. We'd love to meet you in person as well. Wish you all the very best for this concert. And then I think we'll be back again, hopefully a few months later, and talk about a new journey together. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so very much. Yeah. And I'm Dr. Renee Mehrra. Thank you so much for watching. Stay healthy, stay positive.